Have a scope that needs to be repaired? AA Medical Store has a full-time scope repair lab. Our highly trained technicians take your damaged scope and put it through our refurbishment process. First, we do an external inspection. We look at the distal tip, the proximal end, the light post, the nose cone, and the outer tubing. Next, your scope is connected to a Striker 1488 camera system to inspect the image. The lens is checked for dirt or moisture along with the focus and centering of the scope. Then, your scope is put through a full cycle to sterilize and check if the distal tip and the proximal end are sealed. Next, we let the scope cool down while checking for any signs of moisture. After the cool down process, we use a heat gun to loosen up the adhesive and the eyepiece. We keep the scope moving over the heat gun to avoid damaging any of the original OEM parts. Then the scope is put into aluminum jaws and the eyepiece is gently detached from the body with custom-made tools that don't cause any damage in the process. To cut the laser weld on the scope, we use a lathe with special-made gold plate diamond cutter, taking only 1/2 millimeter from the housing. Next, the scope is disassembled on the optical rail, where we take the retainer out and lay out the optical rod lenses and inspect for damage. During the cleaning process, acetone is applied to remove any broken glass fragments, dirt, or dust. We also ensure there are no smears or scratches on the optical lens. Then, all the pieces are installed back in the optical tube and the scope is placed into a low-temp oven to dry. After the scope dries, we perform a focus and centering check while inspecting it for dirt or moisture. Next, we close the scope using epoxy or screws. Using a 5C rotary to ensure consistency, the scope is laser welded to match OEM specifications. After the laser weld is complete, we apply epoxy, attach the eyepiece, and close the scope. Once the adhesive cures, we test it again on the 1488 camera system. We run a full autoclave cycle to make sure the seals are seated. Now, the scope is ready to be shipped back to the customer.